Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hope that you had a very, very good day. Okay, and I hope that everyone's doing well. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It's a beautiful day. Be nice to your neighbor. Anyway, what is my topic today? My topic today is discovering your passions and dreams. Okay, and let me just start by saying I hope that no what was it? Passion and values. VALUES. Passion and values. And I hope that everyone is having a very, very good day. Okay, so let's dig in. Okay, let's begin. Okay, so today we are dealing with our life based on having, are you less free than based on either being or doing? Okay, lives based on having or less free than lives based on either being or doing. And there's a big difference with being and doing. And let's start with the conflict between two leaders. Okay, here we go. Now, let me just pin this up a little bit because now I'm going to get hot and it's going to be something else with this hair. Okay, so when we start thinking of the conflict between the two leaders was escalating fast, and while they were putting the finishing touches on the travel arrangements for the extended mission trip, a disagreement arose over who should be included on the team. So, on a previous expedition, one younger team member had gotten homesick and had left early, forcing a revamping of their plans. Now, this time around, the team leader was firm. This trip was crucial to the support of the new churches and the new businesses that they were planting, and they couldn't risk taking someone who bailed on them like the last time. Okay, so his second in command was equally adamant, and this young man had a big call on his life, and they needed to believe in him and get behind what God had created him to do or to be. And finally, unable to resolve their differences, the two leaders parted ways. Now, this incident is an incident from the book of Acts, chapter 15, is a values conflict. And between the values conflict was Paul and Barnabas over John Mark. Now, Paul valued the TASK, the task of faithfulness and total commitment to the work, and what he expected from the team members, and those who didn't give their all needed to be replaced. Now, Barnabas, the son of encouragement, valued developing people, and he was one who had gone after Paul, and Paul was the outcast and brought him to Antioch, and he even stepped down from leading their first missionary journey to let Paul grow into his call or his calling. For Barnabas, developing people was the TASK, and unable to find common ground on Mark, the two apostles parted ways. Okay, now, as in this story, core values define our eternal passions and form the basis of our decisions. Our values have several shades of meaning. They are deeply held enduring beliefs. Values define what is valuable or important to us in life. Now, they are a framework and are defining what we think is right and what we think is wrong. And values are understanding and expectations of how people ought to behave. You understand? That's basically what it is. The values are understanding the expectations of how people ought to behave. Values is a framework for defining what we think is right and what we think is wrong. Values describe what we are most passionate about, what motivates us, and why we make certain choices. Earlier I did a teaching on why we do, that was during my previous AM recording, why we do what it is that we do. Values aren't aspirations about the future. They come out in, the values come out in everything that we do. If that seems a little fuzzy, you're not alone, because values are one of the tougher concepts for coaches to grasp. And as your coach, I am here to encourage you that there are very important areas. It's hard to coach a person towards values if they neither know of what it is that they want, or if they don't have any core values or why they're doing something. And since values captures what is most important to our clients, life purpose discovery always touches on values. Values are the why for our decisions that we make in life. Now, since coaching is about making and walking out choices, we make choices 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Making these choices and knowing the values that drive a coachee leads to a better decision making. So, the convergent roles that, I'm looking at my lipstick. Okay, the convergent roles that fit our destiny are highly aligned, and they are aligned with our value system. Identifying those values is often the first step in finding the convergent role. And in the convergent role, we have passion. Why do I DESIRE to do this? Why do I desire to do this? What is the energy behind it? What are my dreams? What are your dreams? What are your values? Of special importance for Christian coaches, especially working with Christian clients, it is that we share a set of common values, things that like agape love, service, or becoming Christ-like, like Jesus. There's only one Jesus. So we can't be Jesus, but we can become like Jesus. And the value system replaces the cultural framework of our life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness, which most people in every walk of life is seeking. And as your coach, this is what I want for you, and I'm trying to draw this out of you so that you can live a life of freedom and liberty and pursuit of happiness. Isn't that like the American symbol or something like that? Okay, so our common Christian values begin to diverge at the finer points of the doctrine that defines denominations and religious groups. So, to coach a person within a certain framework as Christians, Christian coaches must learn to do what? They must learn to major in the majors, not the minors, but the majors, okay? Our unity is found within the historical creeds of understanding basic scripture shared by all denominations and not just one particular group of people. And it is not just a question like free will versus determination. Women in leadership is very vital to the body of Christ, to society on as a whole, in general, to the family, to in business, and within the community, and Jesus did not discriminate against women, and Jesus would have been was Jesus a Democrat or a Republican? He was neither. Jesus wasn't a Republican. Jesus wasn't a Democrat. The thing is that we all have things that are non-negotiable, okay? And we have to learn to use those in our own value system. But the ability to stick with the core principles of the Christian faith and let the rest be negotiable is what lets you and I, as believers, continue to work outside of our own particular stream, okay? Now, values education. It is absolutely essential. If a client is unfamiliar with the concept of values, if so, it will be obvious from the baseline assessment. You'll need to do something educating before values can be discovered, okay? Often the best values of education is to be educated to discover one of your own values and then describe on how are you planning to get there. Okay? Now, there are several types of dialogues that we can use. Let's ask ourselves some serious questions. On a discovery call with me, I'm going to ask you what is important to you. Me as your life coach, you coming to me and you would like me to coach you, I have to ask you a series of questions, okay? And those questions are: 1, what is important to you? 2, what things, if they were taken away from you, if they were taken or you couldn't do them, would make your life unbearable, and what makes those things valuable to you? And I can say that we're going to use COVID-19 as a prime example, because during COVID-19 things was taken away from society and from people in general. What was taken away from from the entire world was socialization. Okay, people didn't get into the hustle and bustle of getting into their cars, driving into work, sitting into traffic. They didn't have to listen to office gossip, okay? They streamed everything on the internet. People was actually very happy, spending time with their families. The earth was very happy because it got a chance to rest and rebirth itself, okay? Now, when making most of your important decisions, what are the fundamentals that you base them on? Where do you invest the best of your time, money, and energy, and why? Why do you invest your time, money, and energy into whatever it is that you are doing? And what are your soapbox issues? What are your deepest concerns and why? And what do you take the most pride in? Okay, what most excites you in life, and again, why? Okay, we as human beings are children of God, and we should be inquisitive to ask certain questions. Ask why. Some things we should question, some things we shouldn't question, but you should question your motives. Why are you doing this? What it is that you expect to gain from this, okay? Are you seeking to help somebody? Are you seeking to help yourself? If you're starting a business, why do you want to start this business? If you decide to get married, are you marrying for contractual reasons? Are you marrying just to say that you're being married in name's sake and not putting your heart into the situation? There are so many reasons why, okay? So don't do anything that you're doing half-heartedly. Be all in. Be all in for yourself. Be all in for your dreams. Be all in for your family. Be all in for the business. Whatever it is that you're doing, be all in 100%. And when it comes to the value discovery process, and it is VALUES, the value discovery process, values are the driving force behind our work, our family, and our passions. And because they are such deeply ingrained assumptions that we're often not consciously aware of what they are or how they shape us, once a client understands that their values and the importance of their values, a value discovery process is the next step, okay? There are several types of values set that you can create. One option is to create values for different sectors of one's life, and there is 8 different sectors, okay? Now, you have life, like work, family, spiritual life, community, health, social, and financial. And we have to look at all of these things because all of these things are components of our life and makes up the framework of the life wheel category. And it forces you, the client, and it forces anybody in general to examine what their motives are, what motivates them in many different types of areas. What motivates you to become healthy? What motivates you financially? What motivates you socially? What motivates you during your career? Do you is it promotion? Is it acclamation? Do you have ambition? There are so many motivations in so many different types of your areas that you have to take into consideration. Okay, it is easy to identify and create these values in each one of these sectors now each one of these sectors of your life, okay? And then try to carry and cover everything. You can't cover everything all at once because then I guess you're just gonna have to just what you're just gonna when you're doing a reconstruction, say you buy a house and you're gonna remodel the house. What do you have to do? You have to gut the insides of of the house, you understand? And then you're gonna tear out the walls, the bathtub, lift up put in new flooring, put in new bathroom, you understand? New kitchens, new sink, new toiletries, new woods and framework, and you have to build. You have to put in a new roof, new boiler. So when it comes to the second type of value system, and that is the leadership value, focusing in on why it is that a person do what it is that they do, especially in leadership, is tremendously helpful to any organization. or a team environment. A fourth variety of an organizational value set is the CORE principles. What are your core principles? What is the underlining of the norms and the decisions of the team or organization? And when I start my coaching process, I definitely, and I always do, use a value system. Now, these are value practices that you can implement on a day-to-day basis. Evaluate the following statements, and are they values? Why or why not? And if they aren't, why or why not? So get a pen and a paper. I'll give you a few minutes to jot down some notes and to write these questions, or you can listen to the recording on a replay. Now, when you start the cycle for the discovery process, here's the first question I would like for you to ask yourself, and that would be, I want to be one of those persons who understands the times and know what it is that I need to do. So right now, we as people in COVID-19, this is the country and the world's first pandemic. Okay, so we need to understand the time, what time it is, and what it is that we need to do, what it is that we want to do. The second question is, as a Christian, you value the Bible as the inerrant word of God, as your guide to faith and to practice. Okay? Now, the third question is, value is reaching out to the poor, to the widows, to the orphans. So by the time that I'm, say, 50 years old, I want to be giving half of my income away. Okay, you want to become a philanthropist by a certain time. Okay, so you want to sow seeds into people's life. While you're building, you also want to be giving at the same time. And the fourth question is, I do business with generosity in a way that looks not only to my own interest, but to the interest of others. Why are you starting your business? Okay, are you bringing value to your clients and to your customers, to the people? When you decide to write a book, is your book bringing value to someone? If you decide to open a business, are you bringing value to your customers and to your clients? If you're running for public office, okay, are you bringing value to the people that you serve? Okay, so these are questions that we have to ask ourselves. If you're in the music industry, in the entertainment industry, if you are a TV personality, okay, is what it is that you are doing. If you're a dancer, entertainer, singer, if you work in the medical field, healthcare field, if you're a swim coach, life coach, whatever your vocation is, okay, are you bringing value to others? You understand, to other people other than just you. Okay, the fifth question I would like for you to ask yourself is, do you value creating a retreat center in let's say Hawaii, Cuba, Angola, China, the Philippines, Norway, Europe? We can pick on California. Do you want to do something in Colorado? You understand? Are you open to creating a retreat center? You understand, not only for your clients, but also for leaders in the faith, for leaders in business, for leaders in companies, and regular people. Are you including everyone, or is it just exclusive to a certain type of people? So when you're doing business or whatever it is that you're doing, are you planning a retreat. If you're doing it with love, are you doing it from your heart? Are you doing it with love? And the second question is, when you're planning such a retreat or something like that, you have to find out who's allergic to what, who can have certain types of foods. Are you doing an outdoor retreat? Are you doing a nature retreat? Or are you doing a spa retreat? These are things that you have to think of, okay? What types of food that you would be offering into your package, and that is when you're doing a retreat. And make sure that the food is good and it's good quality. Find out who is allergic to what. Send out a brief questionnaire and ask them, if they have any nut allergies, seafood allergies. The value system, when it comes to you giving excellent service to the people that you are serving, you understand, do it with your whole heart and do it as unto God and to those that you are helping. You understand? Help them to help themselves. Does that make sense? Help them to help themselves. Now, you ever hear that old, was it a parable or a fable? Teach a man, you can either give a man a fish or teach a man to fish. If you give him a fish, he eats for one day. If you teach him how to fish, he eats for life, okay? So in the relationship with God, you have to put God into the center of everything, because God is the center of intimacy and continual conversation with God, and helping to find the nurturing nature of the business, the marriage, the relationship, the vocation, whatever it is. You have to learn how to nurture it, build it, while you're building yourself up at the same time. Now, when we look at brain dump, okay, there's a disadvantage when it comes to, one way to begin an exercise is where a person identifies certain words or phrases that describes what is important to them, and you can either use your value brain dump, and I say value brain dump because it really is a brain dump. You're going to put pen and paper together, and you are going to start to jot down and write down things that are important to you, things that are valuable to you. And let's take a look at some of those values right now. When you are valuing a family, what is it that you value? If you're building your family or you want a better relationship, what is it that you value? Do you value spending time? Do you value the interpersonal relationship? Are you committed to the process? You understand? There are so many things that you can sit down when you start say family. Do you value the family support and encouragement? Do you value the communication? Now, when you do the brain dump or use the word choice approach, okay, the advantage of the word choice approach is that anyone can use this system. Anyone can use the value system. It gives lots of handles and makes it easy to come up with a value statement that you can just combine with words from the list. For most people who have a harder time grasping what a value concept is, this is probably the way to go or the way to do it. The disadvantage of the word choice is that it is selective, okay? SELECTIVE. Okay, you have to be selective, and the value system is selective. Now, you can use predefined opinions, limits that is ununique to a person's value statement. When working with leaders or those who are more self-aware, Okay, the brain dump exercise is essential. It is the best starting place to start from, and it's the best starting point. It requires most thought from a person, okay? But when you yield richer, more personal value statements that cover the breadth of one's life, okay? If the results of the brain dump, you need some extra fleshing out or fleshing out, simply refer that person back to the word choice system. Once you have a list of value words or jottings or scribblings, the next step is to grouping them into a theme that will become the actual value statement. Now we have to make a value statement, VALUE statement. And using the brain dump is a wonderful tool. Okay, now if you're creating statements around the life categories that I mentioned, and that was health, finances, family, health, finances, family, career, your social life, your spiritual life, and community. Okay, now you have to take all of these things into consideration, and for the global value set, 5 to 8 themes is a good start, and it's a good number. And finally, with the value statement in the sentence form, which you are going to develop, because I'm giving you homework and I expect you guys to do your homework, okay? Now, out of these exercises, a page is, maybe you can do it, jot it down on one page or use 2 sides of the paper. You have to start to get to the point where you want to write a value statement, and one person has good reflections once it is down on paper. And I always say, when you do your brain dump, put it on a piece of paper, because then you can actually read clearly, and then you can reflect on what it is that you've written. And the next step is to convert them into convert, CONVERT. Okay, you're going to transfer everything that you've written on paper in your scribblings and your doodling and everything like that, and you're going to combine those things and make it into a value statement. Putting your values into memorable form is like moving your passport from the safe deposit box and putting it into your pocket. Okay, so your passport won't help you to travel unless you carry it with you to where? To the airport. You understand? Right now, the DMV is closed. Literally, the DMV is closed. Those people that would like to renew their driver's license, they can't, because there's nobody at the DMV. The government is closed, so you can't talk to anybody in the government. But if you are traveling, since they have given us permission to travel within the United States and out of the country again, now you need your passport, okay? You can't show up at the airport and at the TSA without your passport. You have to take it out of the safety deposit box, put it into your pocketbook, put it into your pocket, and so forth and so on. Okay, you get it? You understand what I'm saying? Now, the value statements is a good example, and it is writing a value statement exercise. The value statement examples are a helpful reference for any person at this stage when they are in the midst of the coaching process, or they're starting their own business. If you're starting a business of any sort, the first thing people are going to do, they're going to look at your website. They want to know what is your value and what is your mission. as a coaching client, my job is to ask you, what is your mission and what is your value system? Okay? Now, if a person is creating values for their life category, for their finances, for their relationships, for their health and wellness and well-being, for their spiritual growth, okay, or something within their community, ask which area comes hardest to them, because there's some areas of our life that we don't like to look at because it is the most challenging. Hello? So do you do the hard thing first or do you do the easy thing first? And I would say tackle the hard thing first so that you can get a handle on it and master it, okay? And then do the easy stuff. Why? Because if that person is creating a value system within their life category, which area could be the hardest or they are least satisfied with, I suggest that that is where to begin. Okay, work within that area that is very challenging, okay, to create your first VALUE system using the technique that I just mentioned. And I want you to start answering those why questions. Why are you doing this? Why are you coaching? Why am I opening a business? For those new coaches, who is your target? Who is your niche? You understand? And for those people that are not coaches, but are seeking coaching, you understand? If you're seeking coaching and seeking mentorship and you're seeking leadership and guidance, I need you to ask yourself questions. Ask yourself, what is it that you need to learn? What is it that you're trying to gain? What area of your life that you are trying to develop? Are you trying to develop intellectually? Are you seeking knowledge and information? Okay. Are you trying to become healthy? If you are, do you want to work on your health and wellness? Because that is essential. That is vital, because this is your temple. The body is the temple, and you need to start to focus in that area as well. When you're doing your brain dump, do you want better relationships at work? Do you want better relationships within your family? Because everything has a relationship, okay? Now, do you want, because I don't know, I guess it's the times that we live in at the moment, because when we were, well, that was then. Stick to the topic, okay? A person who uses the brain dump, okay, to create a value system gives you an opportunity to reflect. Reflections have a leg up on this particular step, and it's because they already have been playing with the phases, and instead of just individual words, now you're using phrases and full sentences and paragraphs, because now you've taken your thought from a one word you start with one word, and then you take that thought and you expand on it into a sentence. And then as you continue to do your research and continue to ask yourself why and continue to gain knowledge, guess what is the next thing that you do? You become to start to make sentences, and now you've got making full sentences to paragraphs. And when I was teaching ESL, I asked myself, why did I want to teach ESL? And as my students learned, they went from saying one words to making sentences to making paragraphs, full sentences. Now they speak fluent English. They don't even need me anymore. So that's that. I guess I did my part. I did my job. I did what I was supposed to do. So we also have another option that goes directly to the value system. When it comes to the value system, just figure out that you'll probably end up having that person either to go back and rework them at least once to get the final version. It's like when I was writing my manuscript. Oh my gosh, before I had to submit it to be printed, I had the first draft, the second draft, the third draft, the fourth draft, the fifth draft. Then they sent it back for editing and rewording and correcting with phrases and statements and stuff like that. So there are many, 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 many things that you need to take into consideration when you're starting anything. Okay, yesterday I taught on the topic of internal obstacles and external obstacles. Now, it is the same thing when you are writing your vision statement for whatever it is that you are attempting to do, that you are doing, that you would like to do. You would like to have a complete finished draft, and that is so that you can have them to do the value clarification exercises. Okay? And in this exercise, I will be teaching you and talking you through your value process, and I would like for you to say it out loud. Okay? You can discuss it with a friend, with your spouse, or you can discuss it with me as your coach. Okay? Now, the act of the verbalization and the verbalizing value turns individual words into phrases and sentences. And that is essential because you have people that are introverts and that people are very SHY shy, because now you have to get them to open up and to be able to express themselves, okay? And they need to be able to express themselves. This will get people closer to creating their statement, and you can do it with your spouse as an exercise, and this brings the partner into the process as well. You understand? Because then they won't feel left out. For most people that I'm coaching, when I coach them, I encourage them to include their spouses or significant other into their coaching process, because as you're transforming, okay, they're going to see the transformation, and you don't want them to feel left out or anything like that. So I recommend that you know, like when you were younger and you were in high school, or even for those of us as adults when we go back to school or something like that, and you're studying like your vocabulary words and your definitions and flashcards and stuff like that. You understand? You use those. I used to do that stuff like with my sisters and my brothers, and they would be, what's the meaning of this word? And then you'd give the definition, and then you had to learn to study on your own and ask it. If you're doing it by yourself, okay, you have to play both sides. Ask yourself the question or ask yourself the word, and then remember the definition. Okay, and if you're doing it with your family and you have your family's help to help you with your value statement, okay, read your value statement to them, give them words, and do a wordplay kind of thing, and ask them what they think. Ask your spouse, significant other, and after you've done your doodling and your brain dump, read it to them and say, how does this sound to you? You understand? Include them into the process so that they don't feel left out. Now, evaluating the final statement. Most of the time, a person wants feedback on their value statement. For the 4 key things, I say take a look for at and listen for in the value characteristics. And it could be short, unique, unpackable, and now. Okay, these are the 4 things. Short means one memorable phrase or sentence that is absolutely great. Okay, a cue word to remember the value by is also a big help. Okay, the name of my company is Choices Life Coaching. Why? And choices, because I picked that because we make choices on a day-to-day basis. Okay, then you have Nike. Okay, Nike's value statement is just do it. Okay, then you have what is another slogan that everybody remember? Wendy's, where's the beef? Okay, so you need to have either a catchphrase or a slogan. Okay, then let's take a look at 7-Eleven. Why did they call 7-Eleven 7-Eleven? Because they're open 7 days a week. And I don't understand what the 11 is. There's 24 hours in one day. And do they close for Rosh Hashanah? I don't know. Or what is the next holiday? Not Yom Kippur. That's Jewish. Oh, most of them are Muslims or maybe Christians. Ramadan. Okay, then. Now, whatever it is, just think of these things, okay? Then, you have rambling statements like containing several different concepts that should be edited down to what is most important. Number 2 is unique. Okay, your own words, something that has meaning for you and to you. Now, you have certain standards, okay, lingos and phrases that people will relate to. The next thing is unpackable. Every phrase has a meaning, okay? Has a meaning, and the client can easily unpack what they have written to describe it in more detail or in depth. Okay, now the value is written in present tense, okay, not in past tense or in future tense, in present tense. You ever see those Dr. Scholl commercials where they have the insoles for the foot? Those commercials are geared to give you instant relief on your foot or on your feet at the bottoms of your foot. And that is geared for people with foot pain, okay? So now you have to make sure that your value statement is in present tense and it is something that you value. People value comfortable shoes and footwear. Look at all these sneakers and Reebok and Nike and Skechers, and you understand? And they all guarantee one thing, that the shoe will be comfortable and that your foot will look nice. You'll be styling. Okay, so look at it that aspect, and look at it as in the present tense, and it describes you, who you are, not what you want to do or will do, but it is describing who you are and who you are now. Okay, now the second thing is the most common problem with Christian that I've come across as a Christian coach is that when I'm coaching Christian clients, some of my Christian clients are using the standard Christian lingo. Yes, believe it or not, we have a lingo, and the Christian lingo is that they value the Bible as the Word of God, yes, or they want to become a good Christian parent, okay, or if you work with ministry leaders, it is also common to see doctrinal statements in places of the value statement. So when you see these are like little problems that could be corrected. I will push you towards rewording the value statement so that they are more personal and not doctrinal, and that they are unique, okay? Because we are building a relationship, establishing a relationship, okay? Not doctrination or dogma, okay? So can you use a little rewording and a little tweaking in whatever it is that you're writing in your value statement? Yes. And let's take a look at some of the value characteristics. First, we are going to focus on the positive first. That is absolutely essential. And the person may ask you a question, or I may ask you to unpack your most powerful, unique phrase. And clearly, this value is being lived in the present day moment, like now, 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 now. And this phrase that you are making or statement is that the phrase feels more like a lingo. So I'm going to check you and see if it is truly expresses as a value. Is it a VALUE? You understand? Or is it just lingo? Or are you jumping on the, what do they call it? The trend wagon? You understand? You know, like there's a trend in everything. There's a trend in fashion. There's a trend in clothing. There's a trend in in diets and diet regimes and eating programs. There's a trend. So is this a VALUE? Is it something that you believe in within your core value, CORE? Is it a core value, or is it just a lingo kind of thing? Is it something that you are just, are you being whimsical? These are the questions that I'm asking you, okay? There's a lot underneath the phrase, so that when you use the phrase for your value characteristics and statements, okay, I want you to be unique. I want you to be authentic. I want you to be original, okay? Because you are expressing who you are. You're expressing yourself, okay? What the client verbalization will be when you read your statement or your value characteristics. Another stock phrase that needs checking is the verses and the lingos, and are you padding it? I remember when I was in high school and I had an assignment, and it was for my English lit class, and I had to do like 1,000-word paragraph, and basically I couldn't think of anything else to say once I've written like my first 500 words or the first 750 words, and I just start adding lots of and run-on sentences to make it longer, and I kept being repetitive in, like, I would state something in the first part of the paper, and then I would repeat it again somewhere in the next part of the paper, and I'm like, how the heck am I going to write a 500-word essay or a 1,000-word essay? And hello? So now that I've grown and I'm an adult and I'm more focused now and I can think clearly now, I can write a 1,000-word essay, or you understand? So when you're doing your value characteristics, look for fillers and lingos, but sometimes they're crucial touchstones to a person's life. Okay, what is your core statement? Okay, CORE. And when it comes to the value characteristics, it's actually raining now. When it comes to that these things are deeply held, these are beliefs and feelings that the way we think, the way that we see things, you understand, enduring beliefs that define what is most valuable and most precious and most important to you as a person. Okay, and let's discuss some of these areas at what we are defining what values are and aren't. What values are what values aren't. Passionate, P-A-S-H-I-O-N-A-T-E, passionate. Values are passionate. They define, come on, Gigi, help me here, okay? Help me, you guys. We are a team. So let us define what passion is. Okay, come on, those in my group. Let's define. Just type in and let me think. Just let me hear what it is that you think a value is. What is the passion, okay? And when it comes to passion, what is it that you care most about, and why do you do what it is that you do? Now, the next thing is unique. Since they come from your heart, they're in your own words, okay? So put them into your own words. Now, assume. What are we assuming? Okay, these values are so much a part of us that we forget that they are there, okay, and then lived. Now, if you truly value something, your behavior, it will show in your behavior and in your attitude. It'll show up in the way that you do things. You understand? It'll show up in the way that you interact with people. And are they lasting? Lasting values don't change easily, but they're deeply rooted and ingrained within a person. What values are not, okay? What a value is not is that when it comes to goals, okay, goals are committed future aims. Values are what you hold dear in the here and now. Then we have aspirations, okay? When it comes to your aspirations, a value is something that you already live, not what it is that you aspire, A-S-P-I-R-E, to do or to be. Then we have to look at the principles. Principles, values, V-A-L-U-E-S, are not the cause and effect statement word. You understand? It's not cause and effect statement of how life works, or it is not the what you sow. Nope, it is not the reap what, like people say, you reap what you sow. That is not what a value principle is, okay? Doctrinal statements. I believe that the Bible is the inherent word of God, is a doctrinal statement. It's not a value. So you have to differentiate between goals, aspirations, principles, doctrinal statements, and visions. These are what values are not. Then you have what values are. Values are passionate, unique, assume, lived, and lasting. Now, when it comes to 4 characteristics of great value statements, they are short, unique, unpackable, and now, okay? Now, let's take a look. One sentence, one phrase, or even a single word is, you keep it memorable. Now you can sum that up in, can you sum it up in one sentence? Can you shorten it into some something into a meaningful phrase that can be unpackable. Let's say unique. Okay, in other words, not someone else's words, but your own words. Okay, language. You are using languages that could be true to a lot of people. Can you say that in a way that captures what is unique about you, what it is that is unique about what it is that you do? Okay, and the next thing is, can you say that in a way that if your friends read it, that they'd know that it was you who said it? You understand? Mm. Hmm. Everything's still frozen. Now, when we do the now statement, let's continue. I skipped one. The unpackable. Every word in the phrase has a meaning. Every word in the phrase has meaning. Unpackable. Unpack that for me means, what does each phrase mean to you? Okay, take the key words there and tell me what each one means. And then when it comes to the now statement, use it written in the present tense, in the now tense, not the past tense, okay, or the future tense. Is that a pimple? Anyway, anyhow, when we're doing the value characteristics, write your statement in the present tense, okay? And we're going to describe that as, how well is the statement reflected in your life right now, right at the present moment? And is that the value that you're living out already, or is it something that you aspire to, or that we might set a goal to reach? Now, when you set your goals, okay, are they reachable? Are they attainable? And when it comes to the brain dump, this exercise is something that I highly recommend. I highly recommend a brain dump, because it can be done in two ways, either as a general brain dump, or create a global set of values, or by using the life wheel categories: work, money, living environment, personal growth, health, recreation, community, family, God, and to create values for different areas of life. Now, step one is, when you're doing the brain dump, pick a category that you would, from the life wheel, that you would like to work on, that you'd like to, how can I say that without it, that you would like to improve in? Okay, better. Okay, now pick an area of your life from the work life wheel that you would like to improve on, and that would be work, money, living environment, personal growth, health, recreation, community, family, and God. And you're going to start with the basic stream of consciousness brain dump. And those words or phrases is, what do you care most about in life? What is really important to you? Where do you invest the best of your time, money, and energy? And WHY? Why? What are the enduring priorities that drive your decisions? If you are using the 8 categories, take each one in turn and brainstorm them for 5 minutes. So for 5 minutes, you're going to get 8 pieces of paper, 8 sheets of paper, and you are going to write family. Let's take a look. Okay, we're going to start. Piece of paper. Okay, take the paper, and I recommend that you just use 8 single sheets of paper, and then you're going to do family. Do you want improvement in that area? Work, money, your living environment, okay? And then we're going to do personal growth, because that is very, very essential. Personal growth is essential. Okay? Emotionally, spiritually, mentally, psychologically, personal growth and health, community, family, and then okie dokie. Oh yeah, I got a chance to speak to my mom today. She's doing really, really well, thank gosh. And I'm gonna go up and see her this weekend. Yay! Woo-hoo-hoo. So when you're doing your value statement, okay, you're going to write it in these areas, and then you're going to do a brain dump and just write what comes to mind, okay? So you're going to just put them in 8 separate categories. You don't have to use 8 separate sheets of paper. You can divide the paper, fold the paper in half like this, okay? Or you can fold it into 4 sections like this, okay? And then just write down what comes to mind, okay? Let's take family. So with family, time together, vacation, fun nights, sitting out on the deck, laughing and talking, fellowship, okay? Depth and breadth, okay? They get you. You understand? You don't have to be secretive. You can just be open, be yourself, just be you, okay? Interdependence. When it comes to family, there is interdependence. We can count on each other to be there for each other. Worthwhile relationships worth having, okay? Doing your part. In the family, everybody plays a part, and they are part of a team. Everybody PLAYS. Everybody plays a part. You understand? We're all playing nice in the sandbox. Okay? Then it comes with sharing responsibility, making it fun, okay? I looked at some of the YouTube videos of some of the families. They were dancing and entertaining and singing and doing all this other kind of stuff. It was just being fun, being a group, being a unity. And when I tell you that when you're doing your brain dump exercise and you're doing your VALU characteristics, working together, teamwork, you understand? We whistle while we work, we laugh, we dance, we sing, whatever. When you're cooking a meal or making dinner or something like that, who is on, what do they call it, prep duty, and who is on dishes, and who seasons the meat, and who turns the pot. You understand? Then we're going to take a look at our finances. In the area of your finances, that is very important. So if you are going to improve in any particular area, time is more important than money. This is you doing your brain dump. Trading, are you trading money for time? Okay. Do you have enough? Are you having enough? Instead of being rich, are you looking to God for God's provision? What can you do with it? Is it a tool that serves you, or is it or do you serve it? Okay. Free to spend or to save, not having to hold on to it, using it for a purpose. Money has a reason. Are you investing it? income? Is it income from God, paychecks from God? Is it from your revenue, sales of your business? Is it from marketing? If you're into t-shirts, if you're selling t-shirts, or if you're still, what is that? Are you into clothing, apparel? Okay. When it comes to culling and grouping, this you also have to take into consideration. Now take a step back and look at what it is that you've written onto your paper. Okay, and can you group your global VALUE, or everything that you've jotted down, into 5 overall themes? 5 overall themes, okay? And within the 5 overall themes, if you are using the 8 categories, try to cull it down into just 2 or 3 key phrases or concepts that you are most passionate, that gives you the most passion, or that you're most passionate about in each area. We are not looking for the nice wording that will come later, but to capture what best reflects the passion in your heart. Okay, so when it comes to family, we're going to be doing it together makes it fun. Sharing the load makes it easy. Depending on each other makes it worthwhile. Okay? Now, do you see that? When I first mentioned family, when it comes to families, time together, vacation, fun night, sitting around the table, decks, laughing and talking, fellowship, depth and breadth, interdependence, doing your part, sharing the responsibility, making it fun, family as a unit, pulling in your own weight easier or together, working together, team, whistle while you work. Okay, now all of those ideas that you had jotted down on a piece of paper, now we're going to just shorten it, and we're going to compress it, and we're going to cull it and group it. Okay, doing it together, family, doing it together makes it fun. Sharing the load makes it easy. Depending on each other makes it worthwhile. Okay, now money, when it comes to money for time, freedom, my paycheck is from God, and that's enough, a tool for a purpose. Okay, now I'm just going to give you a list of some value words choices, and that is VALUES. Okay, so from the following list, okay, I'm just going to list some of these. I'll just read them off randomly. Listen to the words and pick from the words that mean something to you, and then you're going to put them into one of the 8 areas. Okay, now once you've picked out the ones that appeal to you, write them out on a separate sheet of paper, and there are some that are similar or could be grouped together. See to it that if you can cull your own list down, narrow it down to 5 or 7 themes or a group of words which best describes the best of you. Okay, because what we're working on and what we're trying to develop is you living your best life now and living the best version of yourself now. Okay, so in describing what you are passionate about, let's begin. Integrity, honesty, genuineness, authenticity, accountability, do what you say. Do you do what you say? Directness, sincerity, strength, character. Do you follow through on things that you have started? You know how many people like start projects and never finish anything? You understand? So do you follow through are you a follow through type of person? Now, are you a sacrificial person? Do you sacrifice yourself, time, money, body, whatever, into whatever it is that you're doing? legacy. Does legacy mean anything to you? Family, marriage, duty, honor, heritage, responsibility, harmony, security, stability, peace, home, thoughtfulness, practicality, nurture, love, beauty, romance, volunteering, freedom, exploration, creativity, fun, artistic, spontaneity, flexibility, knowledge, the search, meaning, influence, truth, passion, seeing the world, traveling, adventure, diversity, change, movement, let's do new challenges, opportunity, enthusiasm, starting things, entrepreneurship, motivation, progress, inspiration, renewal, healing, nature, nurture, the outdoors, relationship, team, community, belonging. Do you have a sense of belonging? Do you want to belong to something, someone, somewhere? Belonging. People have a sense of wanting to belong, and I feel for people that are sad, lonely, and depressed at the moment during the pandemic. Now, depth, being known, intimacy. Do you seek fame? Do you seek commitment, friendship, communication, gentleness, okay? Compassion, caring, emotion, spiritual, Life, health, Health, devotion, passionate pursuit, worship, generosity, service, reflection, reaching out, okay, evangelism, changing the world. Do you want to change the world? Hi, Amanda. Then we have hospitality, concerns, integration, making a difference, financial independence. Are you seeking financial independence? Stewardship. Are you frugal? Frugality, overflow. You understand? We all want abundance till it comes to the point of the overflow, so that it not only pays our expenses and meets our immediate needs, but we have enough to overflow to be a blessing to other people and do our philanthropy work, sow seeds into good ground, okay? Sharing, benevolence, long life, learning, success, recognition, community involvement, career, efficiency, accomplishment, focus, okay, and purpose. People speak about that all the time. Purpose. Achievement, building, leadership, mastery. Then we have competence, precision, excellence, planning, being knowledgeable, principles, and rationality. Okay? You have to find your value words from the value list that I have just given you. And then you can take that and you can make a statement, okay? Build your value statement. Arbitrarily, who will they say I am? So you are going to imagine that it is right after your own funeral, okay? Hello? Yes, we're playing that game. It is the imaginary game, okay? So, and I say that all the time. It is good to dream, visualize, and imagine. So right now we're going to say, we're imagining that you are at your own funeral and your best friend and families have gathered around you and they're there to celebrate your life. And one by one, people will stand up and describe who you were and your personal qualities that they most appreciate about you. You understand? And what it is that they like about you and who you were while you were alive on this planet. What would you want them to say? and just get a piece of paper, class assignment. On the piece of paper, you are going to write down some phrases. If you need any help, try looking at the life wheel, and you can download the life wheel. And within the life wheel, categories are work, money, living environment, personal growth, health, recreation, community, family, God. Okay, now look at all of these things, and someone is going to stand up and they're going to be speaking like who you were, and Amanda Miller was this type of person. Okay, and I need you to ask yourself what people want to say about you in each of these areas. Okay, now I remember I've spoken at several funerals, and people were always sad, but I always had, I guess that too is a gift. I always remembered the good things about that person. I spoke at my auntie's funeral, my dad's funeral, my godbrother's funeral, and my sister's brother-in-law's funeral. These are people that I grew up with, and I've known them for many, many years. And every time that I got a chance to speak or to say something, I always remember the good things that I like about that person. And was this, you can say, was this a person, a regular person, regular guy, regular gal? And he never got, did he have any big ideas? You always felt like you could talk to this person, or you can talk to her, talk to him. Okay, now the next thing is, was he, if you're doing your dad's eulogy, was this person a great dad? Was this person a good person? Or did that person care about me? You can discuss so many things, and those things are what you would like people to say about you. Remember, we're imagining here, okay? Then we have to use, did that person leave a mess behind them? When they commented on something that you knew was either, was they a follow-through type of person, okay? Now, he cared enough to pay attention and remember what was important to you. Now, do an evaluation. The next step is look back on what it is that you wrote down on the piece of paper, and what are the common themes behind the responses that you envisioned. What are these particular phrases on your list most important to you? Now, the theme could be taking care of the little things. The theme could be being one of the good guys, or themes could be the person was accessible. It's important to me to show people that I love them in small ways. Doing what it is that you say you'll do is important to me. So just jot that down. And the next thing is, I guess we'll pick it up tomorrow when it comes to our writing a statement. We will be writing a statement, and we'll be doing the value clarifications. Okay? Now, when it comes to clarification, a fun way to flesh out our values is simply to talk them through with a close friend, with a family member. Right now, everybody's in quarantine, so talk to them, talk about it with whomever is within your immediate circle at the time, and having to describe what it is that you value. Say those words out loud. And clarification. This is where you are gaining clarity. So, I cannot stress that enough, okay? When we are doing the clarification and confidence is one of the areas that I will work with you in building you up as part of your personal growth. Okay, so I need you to do the one thing, and that is practice, practice, practice. Think, think, think. Okay, thinking makes it easier to put those values down on paper and later look at it for this exercise. Okay, that you'll need a good friend, family member, or spouse who is willing to do the dialogue with you. So for, say, like a half an hour, it's going to take about a half an hour, and you're going to jot down all these words, do a replay of the tape of the video, and simply share your values one at a time, and then try to unpack each phrase, okay, and explain what it is that you mean. Ask your friend or your partner or your spouse or whomever it is that you're working with at the time that they're going to be mirroring. Okay, we're going to do like a mirroring kind of thing, and what it is that he or she wants to hear, and to make it clear, then discuss back and forth a bit. Give that person the questions and ask them these questions that I'll mention in a few minutes. What does the phrase mean to you? PHRASE. What is important to you? What's the part of this that makes you different than every other Christian or person? Okay, and can you give an example of how that VALUE influences your choices? What is one way that you already live at this current moment, and in all that you have just SAID, what are the two most important phrases to you? Okay, and then we'll just do a quick review, then we'll create our statement, and then I need you to create statement titles and use key VALU words or phrases from the list that I had just mentioned. Money for time, freedom, the paycheck is from God, and that's like, is God enough? Is that enough? All of the provision that God, God is in the providing business. He is our provider. And is money a tool? Okay. Then you have trial versions. God is enough for me, so I can sacrifice my money and time because my paycheck comes from God, and God is the SOURCE. You're free to trade money for time. And will you always trade money for time? Do you work for God? Okay, I will always trade money for time because God is all of the provision. Okay, the provision that you'll ever need, because He wants you to be prosperous. He wants you to multiply, and He's in the multiplication business. He wants you to be an extension of Him and of Himself, and God is all the provision that you will ever need, so you can trade money for time. And that also means that title, money for time, you're going to put that into the title section. And then the final statement is, God is the provision that I'll ever need, so I can trade money for time. And then just write a few sentences within the value statement. And within the value examples, here's a quick example. I believe in respect for the dignity of the individual. I value meeting God everywhere, in nature, in circumstances, in people. And it's about my relationship, not the rules. RULES. Okay, people before projects, people before things, and the transparency that meets God as the healer and not just as a projector. Okay, the transparency, integrity, Transparency that meets God as the healer and not just a protector. Integrity. Your word is who you are. Do you say what you mean? Do you mean what you say? Value living in oneness in marriage. When you're married, intimacy and conversation, unity in the decision making process, sharing in the calling. That means I have is it tomorrow? I have a wonderful couple that will be my guest tomorrow, and they are partners in business, and they work as a group, and it's Abundance Daily. That's the name of their business, and they are teaching couples, husband and wives, how to work together and to partner together in business. So that will be an interesting conversation. Okay. And when you think of it, are you sacrificing to attain excellence? Are you giving it everything that you have? Is what it is that you're doing inspire, bringing inspiration and encouragement to God? And does it honor God as it honor other people? And then with ramblings, we have to deal with ramblings as well. Okay. Now, here's one example. And we can say problem one is rambling. I value helping and empowering people to be their best and live their best lives, resourcing them to discover who they were made to be, and walking with them to fulfill the potential, because God has because people are created by God and are of ultimate worth and value. Now, what we're going to do is shorten that, because that is a rambling statement. So let me just read that again, okay? And the statement is, I value helping and empowering people to be their best and to live their best lives, resourcing them to discover who they are, who they were made to be, and walking with them to fulfill that potential, because people are created by God and are of ultimate worth. Okay, now we're going to shorten that, and the problem with that statement is all the ands, and the redundancy will make this a killer to remember. Okay, your VALU, your values should be something concise that you can carry with you. Okay, now here is a better phrase of that statement, and you can say something like, I value seeing people as God created them, of ultimate worth, and helping them to fulfill their potential. Boom, bam, bum. It's to the point, it's precise, it is focused, okay, and it is not an on-rambling phrase, okay. Now here's another example number 2, goal orientation. And as I read that, let's say, this is the first example, then here it is. I will spend my life empowering people to reach their human potential and to strive to become a great source that helps them to fully walk out their destiny. Okay, did you hear that? Now, here is the problem with this phrase, is this also sounds more like a mission statement instead of a VALUE statement. Okay, an ultimate TASK, then a value VALUE, why you do what it is that you do. Value describes your motivations, not what you will do in the future. And do you understand? Your motivation is one thing and the future is something else. So here is a better way to make that statement, okay? Human potential and helping people fulfill and attain it. Ta-da, bam, done. Okay, now the next thing is the next statement or example that is not unique is being a godly husband and loving my wife and Christ as Christ loved the church. Okay, now that is a nice phrase. People say that all the time. But the problem with that statement is that the value and not the person. What is uniquely passionate about your marriage, or how can you make this personal instead of theological? Hello? So, it may sound better if it says something like this: the little acts of love and service that make every moment a romance. I guess I'm speaking from a woman's point of view. Men think differently, so so you can just take that into consideration. And when it comes to organizational leaders, greatly benefit from creating a separate set of values for how they lead. Now, when we're doing our brain dump, start by doing the brain dump on a separate sheet of paper, okay? And then we're going to do, what are the 4 or 5 most important values that guide the way that you lead? What are your non-negotiables as a leader? What are the guiding principles that form the basics of your leadership and the decisions that you make? Now, here is our checklist. And 1, you're just going to put that on a separate sheet of paper, just as the items is in the list that that you made for the value characteristics. 1 is the place of scripture. 2, single versus multiple leadership, teamwork, and feedback. Okay, in the decision making, there's the decision making process, the interfacing with the culture and the times. Are you connecting with millennials? Who is your target? You understand who is your target audience, what type of people that you are marketing to, are promoting to, that you would like to work with. Okay, when it comes to relationships, do you value the relationship within the marriage? Now, don't forget there's 8 areas. So the relationship with your finances, relationship with the family, relationship with your health and well-being. Then you have recreational and social. Then you have community, spirituality, and then you have to count God into the mix. Okay, and then you're also going to take a look at work, money, your living space, in your living environment, in your personal growth, health and money, recreation, community, family, and God. Okay, you got to remember that God is essential and He wants to help you and work with you in every area of your life. Now, you also have to think of the gifting and leadership, and the POR, the poor, the outcast, and the less fortunate. We have to think of them, and it's called the FORTUNATE. You have to think of the less fortunate, okay? Evangelism, missions, community, involvement, discipleship, spirituality, spiritual growth and maturity. Then you have to think of authority and take authority into consideration, training, leadership, development, servanthood, and then the roles of the lay people, the lay men and women, okay? Creativity, innovation, change, unity, restoration, reconciliation, diversity, truth, honor, and integrity, excellence, authenticity, and openness. And this is how you are going to create for the leadership value your value statement. You're going to do the value statement example, writing the value statement, the value clarification, and who will they say that I am, or who will they say that you are. Then you're going to just choose the words from the value word list, VALUE word list, and we are going to do the brain dump exercise, okay? And then you're going to do with the value characteristics, VALUE characteristics, and all of that is just going to take some time. If you can't remember everything, just do replay. Okay, and this is I guess that's it for the passion and value of my session for today. Okay, so when we sit down and we think of all of these things, take into consideration that it is a process, but I need you to look at your entire being, your entire self, okay? Family, work, money, living environment. We're including God, community, your own personal growth, health, and you have to be committed to the process, okay? And on that note, thank you all very, very much. It's raining now. Hope that you have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining, and I will get a chance to see you a little later, okay? So I'm gonna just put some things up in the group that you can do as an it's interactive, okay? You can do it on your own time. You can type a comment within the group section, okay? Thank you all so very, 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 very much for joining this evening, and love each and every single one of you, and have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk again tomorrow, okay? And don't forget, you can download a copy of my book, Journey to Healing, on my website, www. This is my call to action and your call to action. So www.jennifergraycoach.com/resources, so that you can be interactive with some of the assignments that I am posting and putting up on the group. You can also pick up a copy of my book, Business Success for Coaches and Counselors, on Amazon Kindle. That is also on my website. You can download the Kindle app, and you can also pick up a copy of Marketing Basics Led by the Spirit-led marketing. That's basically what it is. Okay, Led by the Spirit. You can also pick that up on www.jennifergraycoach.com/resources, or pick up a copy on Amazon today. Okay, download the Kindle app, and you can read the book on your phone, tablet, or laptop. And if you would like to make an appointment to speak with me as your coach and to connect with me, just give me a call at 201-749-1918. You can also go to my website, www.jennifergraycoach.com, and you can actually connect with me on the contact page, on the contact information, and just send me an email, and we will connect, okay? Thank you so very much for joining us today. Thank you so much for those that are listening. Thank you all for your comments. Love each and every one of you, and we will speak again tomorrow. So have a wonderful evening, and good night, everybody.